Welcome back everybody to the Cowboy Slot channel, where I bring you experienced advice from years of working in the casinos, tips, reviews, and a whole lot more. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to stay notified when I come out with future videos. This is episode number 2 of an entirely new free series that I'm starting here on this channel to help you guys better your casino experience and help you identify those good paying slot machines. If this is your first time to my channel, be sure to check out my video library. I have tons of videos in there on slot and casino mythbusters and so much more. On the Cowboy Slot channel, I always provide you guys with free content and resources to helping you better your slot play. And it's all backed by actual casino experience. Since this video is the second video of a series, be sure to hit that bell for notifications to stay notified when I come out with the next episodes. At the end of this series, you'll better be able to understand the casino and also help identify those great paying slot machines. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about step number 2 after you've completed step number 1 in the previous video. And that's going to be knowing all about the casino laws and regulations. So why are laws important to you, the player? Well, the biggest reason is that slot machines are very, very legally regulated. These are highly regulated legal devices, and so you need to know and understand your local laws before you start playing these games. If you've watched other slot videos on YouTube, you've probably heard all about Class 2 and Class 3 gaming. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what the differences are and why it matters to you, the player. We're also going to be covering some other laws and regulations that relate to you, the player, when you go into a casino, especially if it's a new casino to you. So let's start today's episode off by talking about the differences between Class 2 and Class 3 gaming. It all starts with the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act, which was passed October 17th of 1988 by President Ronald Reagan. This act established 3 different types of gaming. Class 1 gaming, which we're not going to discuss in this video because it does not really pertain to you, the player, or the casino industry. Class 2, meaning bingo-based games, and Class 3 being pretty much all other gaming that is not covered within Class 2 or Class 1. This is going to be majority of the casinos in the United States, as well as a lot of table games. So let's start by talking about Class 2 gaming. Tribes retain the right to conduct Class 2 gaming as long as the state in which the tribe is in allows for it. There's only 2 states in the United States that do not allow gaming at all. That would be Utah and Hawaii. Before a tribe can conduct Class 2 gaming, they must adopt a gaming ordinance that is established by the National Indian Gaming Commission. The biggest difference between the classes is that in a Class 2 facility, the tribe retains all right to govern their facilities. So wait a minute, if the tribes can regulate themselves in their own casinos, doesn't that mean that they can do anything they want to? And who exactly watches those tribes? Well, the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act actually provides for a basis of regulations for all tribes in the United States. Who watches those is actually the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The act actually gave the FBI jurisdiction over all tribal gaming, and this can be found in Title 25 of the United States Code, Section 29. The IGRA establishes a basis regulation that all tribes must adhere by, and several layers of protections for you, the player, to ensure that the gaming is done fairly. They also have shields and safeguards in there to help guard against corrupt officials and organized crime. So that's the good part about Class 2 gaming, is that yes, it is regulated very, very well, and there's a lot of tight safeguards within that Regulation Act. Now here's the downside. The Indian Gaming Regulatory Act does not provide for a federal standard on what casinos must set their machines by or any payback percentage regulation whatsoever. Now, that does not necessarily mean that the casino is free and clear to change the odds anytime they want to. It just means that there's not a base regulation federally for them to follow. Before a casino is allowed to change their odds in a Class 2 facility, it still must go through a legal process and still must have commission approval. So let's move on to Class 3. So we've already established that Class 2 gaming means any game that's bingo based. So a lot of the slot machines that you may find, especially in Oklahoma, that have the bingo screen, you're actually playing the game of bingo. You're not playing against the slot machine. You're playing a game of bingo that just so happens to look like a slot machine. And this is an important thing to figure out, especially if this is a new casino that you're going to. So, what is Class 3 gaming? Class 3 gaming is going to be like your Las Vegas style slot machines. These are going to be standalone units that fully rely on a random number generator and the machine themselves. So Class 2 is bingo-based gaming. It might look like a slot machine, but you're actually playing a game of bingo with everybody else on the floor. Class 3 is going to be your real slot machines. These are going to be the slot machines with the random number generators and the standalone units. So, can a tribe also be Class 3? Yes, it can. In the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act, the tribe is allowed to operate Class 3 gaming as long as three criteria are met. Before a tribe may lawfully conduct Class 3 gaming, the following conditions must be met. The particular form of Class 3 gaming that the tribe wants to conduct must be permitted in the state in which the tribe is located. The tribe and the state must have negotiated a compact that has been approved by the Secretary of Interior, and the Secretary must also have approved regulatory procedures. The tribe must also have adopted a tribal gaming ordinance that has been approved by the chairman of the commission. So, not all Indian tribes are going to be Class 2 gaming. This is a big misconception. A lot of people think if you go to an Indian casino, you're playing Class 2 bingo machines, and that is actually false. There's a lot of Indian casinos out there that are fully Class 3 regulated. So, which class is better for you, the player? The answer is Class 3 gaming. The reason being is because with Class 3 gaming, it's you versus the machine, not you versus everybody else that's playing bingo in the hall. With a Class 3 facility, it's a lot easier to identify slot machines, because as you're walking around the floor, all you have to be focused on is that pay table and what the slot machine has in front of it. Whereas with a Class 2 facility, you have to be solely reliant on a bingo server. So those are the major differences between Class 2 and Class 3 gaming. As for finding out exactly what class of casino it is that you're playing in, it's very simple. As we covered in the first episode, you can always ask the employees. This information is not private, and the casino will happily share it with you. You can ask any gaming employee, be it table games, slot floor, or even the cashier, and they'll most likely know the answer and can tell you right off the bat if it is a Class 2 or a Class 3 facility. So let's talk about some other rules and laws and regulations that you should be aware of whenever you're playing in the casino. Let's talk about recording in the casinos. If you've watched a lot of slot videos on YouTube, or maybe you've even seen it in a casino yourselves and you see people recording, is it illegal to record in a casino? The answer is no. There is no laws on the books that prohibit recording in casinos. However, every casino's policy is very, very different. So if you are going to record in the casinos, you need to take the extra steps to ask and make sure that you get permission. Some casinos, like the casinos on the Las Vegas Strip, don't care if you film in the casino whatsoever. This actually changed a couple of years ago when a famous YouTuber came in and was recording at the Aria casino and actually got kicked out. He ended up making a video on it, and then Aria and several other casinos on the Strip actually changed their internal policies to allow for recording in casinos. So if you go to Las Vegas, you can feel free to record in most all casinos. However, it's always recommended to ask first. Majority of the slot channels that you see on YouTube, mine included, we go through a very extensive process to get permission from the casinos prior to recording. Sometimes this process can take weeks or months, but we always make sure to ask before we record in the casino, and you should as well. The biggest thing you should always keep in mind with anything law and regulation is that laws and regulations vary drastically from tribe to tribe and state to state. There's no federal standard for casinos to follow by, except for the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act, which strictly provides for just a regulation standard of Indian tribes' casinos. So what are some other rules that you should probably ask about if you're playing at a casino? Well, if you're playing with a group of people or a spouse, you may want to check to see what that casino's rules are on group play. Some casinos do not allow for a group to pull money together and play slot machines. However, if you are playing with somebody else at a slot machine, one of the biggest things that varies from jurisdiction to jurisdiction is who gets the responsibility of the jackpot. In a lot of casinos, the person that gets the jackpot is the person that pushes the button. In other jurisdictions, the person that gets the jackpot is the person that put the money in. So if you're gambling with a group of people or with a family member or friend, this is probably something that you want to ask. And again, this is information that the casino can provide for you. The biggest takeaway from this episode is going to be really know and understand your class of gambling, because that's going to be the most important thing. Is it Class 2 or is it Class 3? Because that's going to depend on how you pick your machines. The second biggest thing is going to be understand that your tribe or your state might have very, very different regulations from casinos you might be used to. And you want to do a little bit of research, especially if you're very involved with slot machines, to make sure that you're following all the rules and getting all the right information. The other biggest thing when it comes to laws and regulations is understand that there's the law and then there's the regulations, And then there's the casino's internal policies. And the casino's internal policies can vary drastically, but there's some things on different levels that the casino actually has no authority to change whatsoever. And that would be things like the odds. Because the odds, when determining odds on a slot machine, that's going to be at the commission or the state level. In a recent video in my library, I was able to obtain a full interview with an active gaming commissioner as well as slot employees at one of our local casinos. You can check out that full video by tapping on the card in the top right-hand corner of your screen, and I'll also include a link in the description of this video. So why is it so important to know your laws and regulations? Laws and regulations are the biggest factor in the casino industry, period. You have to first understand your local laws and regulations before you really dive deep into slot machines. And that's why it's episode number 2 of our series on how to pick the best slot machines. As a reminder, guys, this is an episode in an entire series that I'm doing, so be sure to subscribe and hit that bell to stay notified when the next episode comes out. Thank you guys once again for tuning into the Cowboy Slot channel. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to stay notified. As always, best of luck to you, and we'll see you next episode.